Today, I want to share with all of you a very personal story that I've spoken kind of briefly about on some of my previous episodes. But today, I want to focus a lot more in depth on the moment when last year, end of last year and beginning of this year, me and my family went through a situation where we were at the point of almost being homeless and I was unemployed. So not a fun time whatsoever. But today I want to share with you how we were able to overcome that situation. And all it took was two very easy minor actions. Number one, finding order in chaos. And number two, finding success in failure. So just to give you a little bit of background, end of last year, we did not have absolutely any money to pay for our rent whatsoever. I was unemployed at the time. My wife had just had one of our children. As you guys know, I'm a father, I'm a husband. I'm not going to say, again, I'm not going to disclose how many kids I have on the internet, but we have children. And I was unemployed at the time. She was unemployed. We didn't have any money. Money was not coming in whatsoever. And we just find ourselves in a situation where we owed thousands and thousands of dollars to our landlord. Therefore, we received the worst piece of paper that we've ever gotten in our entire lives, which was an eviction notice. Terrible time. I felt completely embarrassed. I felt like the most disgusting failure of a man that was roaming the earth. I just felt like a mass that was occupying space but wasn't contributing at all to the well-being of my family members. And that is exactly what I describe as rock bottom. When you see yourself in a situation where you just had a baby, you have nowhere to live, you've gotten an eviction notice, you're getting kicked out of your apartment, you don't have a job, there's no money coming in, you owe money to everybody, therefore you cannot ask anybody for money anymore. You can't borrow money from anybody if you've already borrowed money from everyone you know. So that was our situation. And this is not something that I want any sympathy whatsoever about. I'm not a victim. I never felt like a victim. I don't believe in victimhood. And I actually truly believe that victimhood is actually a cancer and is the worst thing you can possibly think about. If you think of yourself as a victim, you've already lost, my friend. Let me tell you that. So what did I do? What did I have to do for me to play my cards and my pieces on the chessboard in a way that we could basically unfuck our life? Because that's how bad we were doing. So the first thing that I had to do was practice self-accountability. I had a very deep and long conversation with myself and a hard, long look in the mirror. And I said to myself, you've put yourself in this situation, not in a masochist way, but in a accountable way. And why did that help? Because I understood that nobody has put me in this position other than myself and my decisions or my lack of actions. And that is actually one of the things that bestows the most power upon yourself as a human being. Because when you understand that you've put yourself in a situation, then you rely on yourself and the power of your decision in order for you to evoke the proper decision making that's going to get you out of the hole. So that is exactly what I did. I looked at myself in the mirror. I said, you've put yourself in this situation. It is your fault that you're going through this. How are you going to take yourself out of this situation in a way that you can properly provide for your family, in a way that you feel proud of yourself, in a way that your family comes back to being comfortable and have a roof over their heads and have all of their needs completely taken care of. So number two, after I already had that conversation with myself, And I knew that it was up to me to dig myself out of the hole. All I had to do was to, and I don't want to get all new age on you guys with this, but I declared the year 2025, this year, as the year of order. I don't know if that is going to make sense to you guys, but basically all I had to do was to call my wife. I remember I was at the living room. I was sitting in the couch. I called her from the room. She was, of course, feeling horrible. We didn't know where we would stand. We were asking more and more and more people for money in order for us to pay our debt. And there was no one else to call. That's how in debt and that's how deep in the hole we were. So I called her from the room. She came to the couch. We were both completely demoralized. And I grabbed her hand and I told her, I promise you that this year, 2025, is going to be the year of order. She looked at me and she was just like, I like the sound of that. She didn't know exactly what I was going to do. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do, although I did know where to start. But once I declared 2025 as the year of order, it was basically legally binding at that point. I made a contract with myself, with God, with the universe, with life, with prosperity. Once you put it out there, once your words leave your body and you put that energy out there into the universe, and you make a pact with yourself and with God and with the people that you love, in this case, my wife, because she was in this mess with me, then there's no going back. And what were some of the actions that I took in order for me to accomplish order in chaos? Well, first of all, I was unemployed. I knew that I had to get a job. I prayed to God for a job. I prayed to God for a specific salary, number and everything, not a range, a specific number of the salary that I understood I deserved based on my qualifications, based on my resume, based on my credentials, and based on my family's expenses. And then after I prayed and I put everything on God's hands, action. I was applying 8 hours a day, every single day, to jobs on multiple websites and platforms. My wife started doing the same thing. I brought her on the bandwagon. And my wife and I literally started a job at finding jobs. This became our full-time job, to find jobs. 1 month after that, we found a job, both of us, with the exact salaries that we had prayed for on the same day. Call it a miracle, call it a coincidence, call it however you like. To me, it was all of the above. It was a miracle. It was a blessing. It was an answered prayer. But it was also the result of hard, uninterrupted, endless work. We never stopped, not even for 1 minute. We made a commitment with God and with ourselves to dedicate 8 hours a day, no matter what, to finding the jobs that we had prayed for. And now we had incredible financial stability. And with financial stability, what comes right after by extension? Order, accomplishments, goals, debts paid, investments here and there, plans, experiences, In our particular case scenario, we have accomplished all of the above mentioned. And then the third thing that I want to share with you guys, and I want to close out with this, is that failure has to absolutely and utterly be part of the process. You are never going to strengthen your faith and really polish yourself as an individual, as a professional, as a human being, if you don't find failure. Failure is a natural part of the process, and I would even go as far as saying that it is a necessary, it is actually a paramount part of success and part of seeing yourself as the version of yourself that you dream every single day with. Struggle is the absolute requirement for you to pass the test of life. If you don't struggle, if you don't hit rock bottom, if you don't see yourself at least once in your life, especially for man, as a failure, I don't think that you will ever accomplish that peak that you see yourself accomplishing. So finding and really looking at failure right in the face, right in the eyes, was exactly what gave me the tools and the determination that I needed for me to unstuck my life and take myself and my family to the absolute next level. Can you imagine what it is for a almost 30-year-old as I am, seeing yourself, your wife, your kids at the verge of eviction, seeing yourself unemployed, seeing yourself with absolutely no money, owing money to all friends, all family members that you could possibly ask for any help? That rock bottom of my family and I are going to go to a shelter, my family and I are going to go to the streets, is exactly what gave me the determination, the course of action that I needed to say enough is enough. I did not feel comfortable. I was pissed off. I was enraged. I was so angry, but I directed my anger in the right way in order for me to make a commitment and a promise to God, a commitment and a promise to myself, a commitment and a promise to my wife, holding her by the hand and saying to her, you will never have to see yourself in this position. I will never put you in a situation where our bills are not paid for, where our kids are struggling, where we are seeing ourselves having to ask family members for shelter, owing money to everybody. You will never be put in this situation by me ever again. Once I put it out there into the universe and I declared 2025 as a year of order, I made a contract with myself with permanent ink on my signature. And it was just uphill from there. We found ourselves right now in a position where, thank God, we have a lot more than we need. And I'm not even gonna go on a tangent just mentioning all the material things and the experiences and the goals and the accomplishments that we have available to us at the moment, because I don't want this to come off as braggy, because this is not about bragging. This is about taking your life to the next level and finally making the decision that as a man is going to make you become the man. Not only the one that you should be, but the one that your family deserves. So this is how you unstuck your life. This is how you find order in chaos. You have to make a commitment with yourself. You have to get up every single day and really want it, because nobody, not your mom, not your dad, not your siblings, not your girl, are going to wake up, go to your bed, drag you by the feet, and take you where you want to see yourself in life. You have to want it. You have to make the decision. And that's what I had to understand myself when I saw myself as a failure. But what happened next was that once I made that commitment, once I told my wife, once I told myself, once I spoke with God, and I said, this is not the man that I want to be. This is not the man that my family deserves. Now, all the doors were open. And it was up to me to get through the door and grab every single tool that I needed for me to make the change that I wanted to see in myself and in my family and in my life. And now, thank God, everything that we can possibly ask for, we already have. And now we're seeing life and experiencing life from a place of abundance, as opposed as a place of scarcity and misery. So let me know what you think in the comments. I would love to hear your story. I would love to hear your opinions, and I would love to open up conversations. And if you like this video, God bless you. See you on the next one. And thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. Have a good one. Hello there, and thank you very much for watching today's episode. I really hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, do not hesitate to like and subscribe to the channel for you to get more content like this. Thank you very much. God bless you, and see you on the next one.